The room is relationships. The room is you and me and everyone in America.
What are you talking about?
The room is different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
Yeah, man, you never know. People are very strange these days.
What's going on?
Welcome to The Room Minute,
The podcast where we get obsessed with the cinematic classic The Room.
1 minute at a time.
You have no idea what kind of trouble you're in here, do you?
Why are you so hysterical?
We always wanted people actually talk about it.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Allison.
Oh, hi, Rob.
Oh, hi, listeners. We're here to talk about minute 52 of The Room, which in my notes I've entitled Bond, Johnny Bond, and Who the Fuck is Peter? Because we go from the end of Johnny being awesome with his technical skills to the introduction of a new character.
With this tape recorder.
Yes.
From like 1957.
I have a couple notes on that. My first one is like, for all of Tommy Wiseau's supposed difficulty in like acting and remembering lines, he should have been doing more silent acting. Because we're getting like 15 straight seconds, starting right at the end of the last minute, of him just performing the fuck out of sticking a wire into a tape recorder. Like it is nobody's business. He's just like, I'm doing this. It totally works. And you almost buy that what he's doing is going to work because he's just so into it.
Oh, hi, recording message.
Oh, hi. Wait, who was that? Oh, hi, Johann. Yeah, and where do you buy cassette tapes in 2003? I still had some, but I was not buying any.
Well, here's the thing. He's using an answering machine recording device, not an actual recording device. So he has the tapes, like those little tiny ones, that only store like a couple minutes on it.
Wait, is it a little tiny one? Because I noticed, I was looking at the close-up of the machine, and then I should have looked when he pulled it out of his pocket.
It looks pretty full-size to me, yeah.
Because I know he's hooking the recorder to the... Wait, no, he's hooking it to the phone.
Yeah, but it's...
Although the phone could have a built-in answering machine.
But
I don't know, we never see a close-up of the phone.
Yeah, these are the answering machines that were separate, so it got routed in a certain way. It's really old school. So sometimes you can put in those tapes that were like 60 minutes, like a regular one.
Yeah.
But the ones that were designed for it, like, would eventually just go back because otherwise the thing is recording for about 60 minutes. Because if someone forgets to hang up or something like that. So the design of it was proper for what he wanted to do, but he had to have somebody on the line the minute it picked or he hit record.
Yeah. See, I got the impression what they were going for, because I didn't look up the specific machine, is it's a tape recorder he is hooking to the phone.
Yes.
And he presses record, and it's like, he's just going to have to change the tape every hour or so.
Yes.
Depending on what kind of tape you put in there.
So it's kind of like when a detective at a police station tries to call somebody, and he's trying to record whatever the conversation is.
Yeah.
That's what you would use this thing for. So you would hit record the minute like some details are supposed to come out and whatnot. But the minute he hits record, you also have the X amount of time on that tape.
Yeah.
And about then, the longest one would be about like 110 tops on one side, I think.
They had them that long? The longest I ever got it would have been 60 on a side.
I've had them
horrible quality, but it'd be fine for what he's doing.
Yeah, they're absolutely horrible because I used to use them for like demo tapes when I used to DJ and whatnot. So some of them have a longer... like there's been like 90 minutes, but they sound horrible. They're so bad.
Yeah.
So you'd get like the 90 on both sides total, so it's like 45 on each side.
Yeah.
But those long ones that are supposed to be like extra time or whatever, they're just so bad because they try and spin slower.
Right, and you couldn't adjust the speed like a videotape.
Yeah.
Like videotape, it was always the same length, and then you adjust the speed based on what you want to record.
Yeah, so when you have something with a playback that's supposed to be normal, it sounds so bad because it has such a long rotation. So the first couple parts of the tape, you can tell it's a little slow. They're just horrible, but they did exist.
Yeah, and for what he's doing, the quality is not going to matter.
No.
For that matter, as we discussed last week, recording it doesn't even matter. He already knows what conversation he heard. It's just like...
Yeah, I mean, what was his point to try and record conversations in the room or just on the telephone?
Yeah.
It would, yeah. Well,
that's a good question. Maybe he is just trying to record the room, but later he uses it to listen to a phone call.
Yeah, which
And
is...
by the way, oh, hi, David.
Oh, hey. Hey, everybody.
Hi. But that is what's weird, is because this particular recording, yes, you can do intercom recording, but he specifically plugs in a mic, which a lot of times takes precedent.
Well, I thought you plugged it directly into the phone.
Well, that's
Well, maybe through the mic.
quote unquote the
connection.
mic.
Yeah.
So it takes precedent that it's only going to record there instead of both things at the same exact time.
And it looked like that phone might have been big enough to have a speakerphone in the base, so maybe he
Yeah,
could
it did.
record.
It probably came with like the answer machine built into it. And all that.
Yeah. So when I was trying to figure out if he was trying to record the phone or the room, I thought, I couldn't remember if there had been much phone usage in the movie, and that started to bug me. So I went back and watched from the beginning, and I put it on 32x speed because I didn't want to watch the whole movie again. And just to report back that even at 32x, the sex scenes are still awkwardly long. But yeah, so my theory was that he was trying to record the telephone, but I don't know why, really. So, but it could be either.
Well, yeah, it's also, I don't think they ever say it outright, but I always got the impression that Mark lives in the building. Like, we see him up on the roof later, just hanging out.
Yeah.
So recording the phone when he thinks, well, no, he doesn't know who she's had sex with, right? He just knows she had sex with someone. What did she say to her mother last
Yeah,
night?
she doesn't tell her mother who she had sex with, but
yeah. So he doesn't know it's someone who lives in the building. So yeah, recording the phone would make sense then. And coincidentally, that's who she talked to on the phone earlier.
I think earlier when Lisa and Michelle are discussing, and Michelle guesses, I think she says that he lives in the building then.
Yeah, because she says, oh no, she does say he lives in the building and he's Johnny's best friend. That's right.
Yeah.
His best friend. And he lives in this building.
So Michelle knows, but he missed that part of the conversation.
Right.
He just knows there's a secret.
This is just overtly complicated for something so simple.
And unnecessary.
Yeah, he doesn't have to live in the building, like when you write this.
Well, I'm fine with that, because it's part of what Tommy was going for in terms of the script. It's what he also did with the neighbors, is these people that all live in the same building and they become friends because they're near each other, which is like his idea of what America is you like your neighbors.
Yeah, okay.
And even in a busy city like San Francisco, you have to have that. I'm okay with that part.
And I'm confused about the timeline. Does this occur after Melrose Place? Like, was he shooting for a Melrose Place style?
Yes, this was after Melrose Place.
This is well after Melrose Place.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he was going for, but it is after.
Yeah, to have everybody living in the same building. Mm-hmm. Everybody's doing it with each other. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that kind of soap opera kind of drama.
You are right. There were a couple of sitcoms that were like that, where people lived in the same apartment building, or if they didn't, they were the super of that apartment building.
Yeah. We even like Three's Company, like one classic one from 70s and early 80s, is the main cast stay on one floor in the apartment building. The landlord is a recurring character, lives below, and then Larry lives upstairs. And it's the interaction of the three all the time. There's probably other people in the building, but it's like, that's our main cast, is people all live in the same building and know each other. Friends, mostly, is 2 apartments across the hall from each other.
Well, except for Ross. Ross lived on his own.
Right. But he's brother of one of the others. Yeah. And Big Bang Theory, same idea.
Oh, yeah.
First episode, they meet the neighbor. And then their co-workers come and hang out all the time. But the setting is primarily that one location with the 2 apartments. It's a common sitcom setup.
Yeah.
The neighbors...
It's a sitcom setup, though.
Yeah.
Where you have sets that don't move anywhere.
The neighbors is actually an okay concept.
Yeah.
His thing he followed this up with is that he's the landlord who kind of interacts with all the people in his building and he's the Johnny good guy to all the people in the building. It's horribly executed because I think, unlike the movie, The Room, it didn't have a professional crew who knew what they were doing. And so it's very different quality. But the concept's fine. Even the concept for the movie is okay.
Get all the awkwardness without any of the professionalism then.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that San Francisco only has one apartment building. That's where they are, right?
Or it's like, I don't know how he thinks about this. It's like, because when you see this movie over and over again, you start to realize the way he wrote Johnny was, he seemed to be the most likable person in this movie.
Yeah.
So everybody's friends with everybody because either they're family or they all lived with each other.
Yeah.
But then he's the only one that seems to have friends outside of the building.
Well, sort of, because Mike is also in a couple, like he's a couple with Michelle, who is Lisa's friend, so it's kind of
okay.
Weird.
But then there's also like the florist.
True. He's your favorite customer.
You're my favorite customer.
So it's like wherever he goes, somebody knows him.
Well, he's Johnny.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
But then everybody else doesn't have a world outside of where they live in or who they've lived with.
True, yeah. We don't see anyone else outside but Mark and Johnny. Except for the roof, but that's not really outside.
Yeah, and everybody that seems to, like...
Still the building.
Later minutes, the other gentleman that or actually near the end of this minute, it seems like everybody kind of converges around the life around Johnny, and that's how they have their friends, is because Johnny seems to be the pivotal person in everything.
Yep.
So it's weird how living situations are set up, but it definitely seems like we can kind of throw out that everybody lives in his building, knows each other, because he set it up that that's his world that way.
And once you accept that, then it's like, okay, we get it. It's that sitcom soap opera setup.
Yeah.
Their relationship's going to get in the way of each other.
Is there maybe some sort of opposite of the Bechdel test that we could run on future movies to say, like, is there a relationship that occurs outside Johnny? And if so, you've failed the Wiseau test or something?
It would fail because though Michelle and Lisa start talking not about that, they end up talking about that. Same with Lisa and Claudette. And Denny and Chris R is very much not about that. And then at the end of the scene, it totally is. Everything comes back to Johnny.
Yeah, that also brings a good question with Chris R, doesn't it?
What?
He had access to the roof.
Yeah.
So that means he lives in this building as well.
They all live in the building.
Yeah.
There's a jail in the building, apparently, too, because they send him off to the cops so fast.
Well, this makes it even weirder that everybody's like, they're like, who was that guy? It's like, he lives in the building.
Yeah, he lives on the 3rd floor. You've seen him at the mailboxes. And it's
like, you guys had a building party.
It's a
he
big
was
building.
there. Yeah.
Well, there must be a bank as well if the money's only 5 minutes away, so...
Yeah.
Well, the bank is pretty far.
Well, the money was never coming.
That's true.
Yeah, no, but the money was never coming, so it doesn't matter how far or how near the bank was.
Yeah. Well, Johnny might just have tons of cash in his pockets. His pockets are always really full.
Yeah, he probably did in his vampire days. He carried money around because he didn't trust banks back then.
Yeah.
Previous minutes, that was
he just got used to
something that came up.
Yeah, callbacks.
Yeah.
Now, I like when Johnny returns to the stairs. I don't know if it's deliberate or Tommy Wiseau was just confused, but it looks like Johnny is having second thoughts about doing this. Like he's like, did I just do the right thing? Or like he's grabbing at the center post of the stairs as he walks up. Like he's unsure, and I like it.
Yeah. Before he gets to the stairs, he definitely has a I'm pleased with myself sort of grin on him, but it
fades.
His face changes.
Yeah.
It fades for sure.
But so
it's like,
so he climbs upstairs, like he's looking back, like, did I do the right thing? His friend is waiting for him in his bedroom?
No, that's just a weird transition, because the room they go into is that same room.
Room with the recording device, right?
Yeah, just a different angle than we're used to.
Okay, because,
So is he recording himself then?
Yes.
Yeah.
This transition is weird though, because he's wearing the same outfit. He goes up the stairs, cut to him walking into a room. That's a different angle than we've had. And I'm like, wait, no, he's not upstairs.
Yeah, so
it's the same room, just later.
Yeah, it's so confusing. Like because he's going upstairs and then he sits down. It's like, wait, did he have a friend upstairs? Like, but also, what is he sitting on?
He's sitting on what looks like a giant pillow that has not been there before, that is on the couch that we have seen.
It seems like that fabric is all over that couch, if it's anything, correct?
Well, the couch is covered. It does have a cloth cover, but usually there's also an extra blanket and another pillow sitting on it. It gets rearranged a lot and slightly repositioned. Same with the chairs. Get moved slightly depending on the shot.
All right, because it looks like a fitted, like, silk sheet thing.
Yeah.
And why would you have that downstairs, like with, company and all that?
They do have a lot of company too.
Yeah, but I'm this is like, essentially this is your finer thread type stuff. So why would you have that out in the communal area?
That's all they have. They're not going to go low class just because people come over.
I guess, but
High class.
I think that might even be the same fabric that he covers the table with, too. It's very similar, sort of a shiny, satiny.
Yeah, you got to match the furniture.
Yeah,
everything's
right.
got the same cloth.
They constantly rearrange.
It's almost as if
They haven't.
no one on this film was concerned with continuity.
Yeah, almost.
Well, there were some people, they just weren't allowed to actually take pictures to worry about it. They just had to hope. Because Tommy didn't care. Or John, yeah, Tommy didn't care.
this is...
Can we talk about the water cocktail for a second?
Sure.
Why are they drinking water like it's a cocktail?
Why are they drinking in this scene?
No.
At all.
All right, that's a fair question as well.
Okay, I do have somewhat of a answer of why they're drinking water this way.
Okay.
Because waiters do that.
Okay, so one of them is a former waiter or current waiter, maybe?
Or this is how he sees people serve water.
Oh, sure.
Well, and remember, Johnny doesn't drink alcohol. So the fact that he's drinking water makes sense, but I don't know why they have to be drinking in this scene.
Yeah, but the reason why like he has a bottle of water is because you always see waiters like crack open a brand new water bottle for the guests, like in higher, what's it called, or like more hoity-toity type restaurants.
Yeah.
So he's trying to show that he's like a well-off guy. So he's doing the exact same thing that you would see in well-off restaurants.
Yeah. He should have had that water that comes in like the what's the blue glass bottle? I don't know the brand, but he should have had that.
Yeah.
Instead it looks like an Avion bottle. He's just removed the label. Because he doesn't like labels. He doesn't want to advertise other products.
Yeah. I know it's obviously brought up a lot, but he doesn't make sense. But that's why, like, when I see this, it's the same exact thing waiters do at like, for some guests at restaurants. They crack open a brand new water so that water's for that table type thing.
Right.
So I think that's what he's doing, is because since he's so well off, he's going to have a particular water for that particular guest.
That's Peter water.
Yeah. That's a completely different thing, dude.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But it's funny because watching Disaster Artist, there was a situation where he didn't get any water for the actors, and he so happens to have water specifically for this actor on this scene. He's probably not as thirsty.
Well, yeah, Johnny provides water. Tommy doesn't.
Because Johnny's a good guy. He's all American.
Yeah.
He plays football. And he knows what the room is. It's there. It's everywhere. It's every room. It's where something happens. I'm from the bayou. Oh, Tommy. What are you doing?
And did I maybe bury the lead too when I asked about the water, when we probably should have talked about who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm trying not to bring it up anymore, but in terms of the quote-unquote original script, we are in Act 2 now, so we're getting new characters.
Oh, okay.
We started with Mike and Michelle, and now we're getting Peter, and so it's giving us a bigger world to the structure of the story. In the movie, I'm not sure that lines up as well, because we're 50 minutes in, so it's kind of a little late.
But we did take up about 30 minutes with sex scenes, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually so fun. Like, it is so funny that the second act is 50 minutes in.
Sorta. Well, it would have started with Mike and Michelle, which was like 10 minutes ago, I think, but it was a little late.
Yeah. Especially someone that's supposed to kind of deliver some exposition of the movie.
Yeah. He's here to, like, explain everything.
Yeah. Like, basically, he's the audience at this point. Like, well, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this happened, and this happened. And it's like, now you're introducing this?
Yeah, structurally, the scene may be placed wrong, but it is definitely an important scene, because this is the scene that introduces Peter, brings Mark back in, brings Denny back in, and everyone talks about what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is the setup for everything that comes.
And you're right, it is about 10 minutes late.
Yeah. Peter is, of course, played by Kyle Vogt, who had actually had, like, one role, I think, before this. Has had several roles since The Room, including a recurring thing on Maze Arcana, a D&D show. Notably, though, this was his last day of filming because he had a previously scheduled project that he had told Tommy about and kept warning him, I'm going to have to leave at this certain day. And he finally went and told Tommy one more time when Tommy was going through what Greg calls depuffification. He basically said he had too many wrinkles on his face, but he wanted close-ups in the scene. So he told Amy Von Brock, the makeup artist, to get rid of them. And she's like, that's just your face. But she tried. And Kyle went up to him and told him this is going to be his last scene because he has to go on to his other commitment. And Tommy got really mad at him and told him he was trying to ruin his project and it's unacceptable. Like, if you leave, don't come back, which he didn't.
Good for him.
Yeah. And at one point, Tommy screamed, it's your loss, you and your stupid Warner Brothers. They spit on you at Warner Brothers. The thing is, he wasn't going to work at a film at Warner Brothers. He just happened to have a part-time job at Warner Music. Oh. And Tommy got confused. He was going to work on an indie film.
All right.
And Kyle Vogt had also previously worked at the Jet Propulsion Lab for NASA. So
good for him.
Well, all right.
He's an interesting guy.
Now, much later in the movie, there's a character that sort of subs in for Peter.
Who essentially says Peter's dialogue.
Right.
They just give him a new name.
Yeah, that's during the party scene, right?
Well, I find it a little bit interesting with kind of the exchange in dialogue from just this last minute, though. Because he is not upfront with how he's feeling. And he's saying that women don't say what they mean.
Yeah.
So
it's actually a weird thing for Johnny to say at this point, because Lisa hasn't... Has she said anything to him?
No. He's only under suspicion at this point.
Yeah.
And
they had one conversation where she just walked away. She didn't really say anything.
Yeah. And he didn't really ask either.
Yeah, because he didn't suspect anything. He just thought she was being weird because she had a secret.
Yeah, but this kind of goes into that whole thing where we think somebody hurt Johnny.
Yeah.
Or Tommy.
Tommy.
Because he's like, it's one of those where somebody has had an argument in his head for so long, or in their head, that when they come up to you, you already come in like 5 minutes into the argument. You're like, wait, where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
So whatever feelings that he has towards his girlfriend here, he's had towards somebody else.
Right.
And he didn't establish the argument that happened prior to, so we're only coming into this weird part of the argument.
Yeah.
Right, and in the fictional version, we have Johnny, who has been with the same person for 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange that that's his attitude.
Yeah, because right now we're at that part where you're having dinner with friends, and then somebody makes like this little tiny inside joke that we don't get, and then somebody takes real offense to it and going like, oh, you mean like last week? And you're like, we're here at the wrong part.
Yeah.
And this is essentially what he's doing with everybody that's watching this movie. We're like, we're definitely at the wrong part because we don't know what's happening yet.
Right. Mark talking like this, it kind of we can accept it because he was introduced as being brought in as a third wheel to this relationship. And so it's fine that he's got a weird issue with women.
Yeah.
But Johnny, we don't see a reason for it.
Yeah, this is really weird as far as the conversation goes if you're new to this storyline. Because you don't know what's going on.
No.
You really don't. And he's like, yeah, things are weird. She's cheating on me.
I don't think she's faithful to me. In fact, I know she isn't.
What the fuck? Yeah, I didn't know this was this conversation. You're only giving me water.
Yeah.
Like we should be drinking.
Yeah, we should have something stronger.
Yeah.
That's what Peter should say is, can we get something stronger?
Yeah. Like, this is where you're at the restaurant and go, waiter, may I have a vodka? And he probably needs a whiskey. Type of thing. It's just like, oh, what?
Well, you don't want Johnny drinking, though, because he'll get violent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Johnny, you don't want him
But I heard he didn't hit her. Yeah.
Yeah. I also heard he did,
I've heard,
so.
But I heard it from Johnny, though, so who knows? I probably come in halfway in that conversation. But, I don't know.
Now, the important thing to note going into this scene with Peter, because we only just get the beginning of it in this minute, is after their argument, because this was Kyle's last day, Kyle was upset and Greg Sestero says he was a little off his game, and while blocking the scene, he smacked his head hard against one of the spiral staircase's low-jutting stairs. He bled from the head for a while.
No.
Which Tommy panicked thinking they weren't going to be able to film. They cleaned it up, and he most likely had a concussion. And that is why, when you watch this scene, he blinks a lot.
Oh.
He also, it's going to set up a joke when we get to Notes on a Midnight Screening in a minute that continues for several minutes and is one of my favorite things that the audience does.
That kind of makes sense with why the way he's moving.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to keep himself stable.
Yeah, he's looking at his fingers. He keeps glancing at his water, like he's trying to focus.
Yeah.
And really think about what he's doing.
You're trying to get your equilibrium somehow, because you feel like you're going to tip over.
Right. But probably because he knew it was his last day and he was done with this movie, he's like, I'll just get this scene done and get out. And so he didn't want to like make a thing out of it.
Yeah. The concussion part makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
It really does. It's weird to say that this guy, what a pro.
Yeah.
In this movie, what a pro.
I think the last line in this minute that he delivers the, what do you mean?
Okay. What do you mean?
Is probably the most human reaction in the film. Or, at least top 3, maybe.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it had to do with what his statement was versus how he sounded it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think at this point we can add Kyle Vogt to our list of the great actors of the film that, like, with Chris R., Claudette, Michelle, who are doing much more than this movie maybe deserves.
Yeah. I like Claudette.
Because, Peter has horrible things to say, and he's inconsistent. But in this scene alone, he's operating on a concussion, and he still manages. Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that line that he says that is possibly the most human, that's sort of the end of his good human deliveries. We'll see in the next couple of minutes that he sort of gets into the rhythm of the film where everyone else is, he's just as awkward as everyone else. But
Notes from a midnight screening for this minute.
Notes from a midnight screening.
Of course, we're continuing the phone scene, so we get more of the Mission Impossible theme. The audience singing it together, and they do a pretty good job of singing this one. Unlike trying to sing along with the songs during the sex scenes. There's a couple random things I noted last time. Someone saying it's an infinite tape when he hits record on his tape. And when he's walking away, someone was like, play it casual, bro.
That's good.
And so it's like, it smells like Mark on these stairs as he's walking back up.
Oh.
But this is the start, and I'm not going to explain it in this minute. It's going to last a few episodes. This is the start. Is every time Peter is on screen, random people in the audience have to scream, Peter! Peter, over here! Like they're trying to get his attention. And it will last several minutes, basically through this entire scene. And it is wonderful, because the payoff is awesome. Otherwise, this minute, that's all the notes for the audience, because that's all they're really doing is interacting with Peter. They kind of ignore a lot of the content, which is great. We end on a close-up on Johnny, and it cuts out. So, our guest today, Johann. Where can the audience hear more from you?
Well, I've finished a project with Starship Troopers with Matt Soto. Also a huge fan of The Room. He's actually the one who introduced me to this movie. And we are doing Independence Day Minute. We're currently on hiatus because everybody just got insanely busy as we are nearing the end of the year. But those are the 2 shows that I'm on.
And David.
I've got a few projects in pre-production right now, so I'm actually just going to throw my plug back at Roughneck Minute because that was a great podcast. I enjoyed it. So Johann and Matt did a great job. But
thank you.
I'll tell you about some other stuff later. So.
Nice.
So there's nothing wrong when people make fun of the project, in this case, The Room.
The Room Minute is a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find more content at lemmingdrops.com.
Follow The Room Minute on all the obvious social media. If you've got any stupid comments after the show,
you can leave them in your pocket on Facebook. If you like what you hear, throw us a rating and a review on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for listening, and remember, if a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Leave us!